Days after Indian Prime Minister scolded Canadian PM Justin Trudeau at the G20 Summit in Delhi, India-Canada ties are in complete freefall. The upcoming trade talks have been postponed with no solution in sight. Issues of anti-India extremism and attacks on places of worship in Canada have irked India. New Delhi wants an unconditional end to extremist and secessionist activities and is prepared to sacrifice a trade agreement in order to protect India's sovereignty. Canada has now decided to postpone a much-anticipated trade mission to India. The decision was confirmed by the Canadian Trade Minister. The Canada-India Early Progress Trade Agreement would have been a precursor to an FTA. New Delhi, though, would have expected this response from Canada. Days after Trudeau was scolded by Modi at G20 over anti-India activities of extremist elements in Canada, including inciting violence against Indian diplomats, damaging diplomatic premises, and threatening the Indian community. Another drama unfolded after the G20 summit. Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau's return was delayed by almost 2 days due to a technical snag in his aircraft. As per reports, India even offered the services of aircraft Air India One, but Canadian side turned down the offer and chose to wait for the backup aircraft. Opponents at home and some social media users in India mocked Trudeau over the delay. Earlier, eyebrows were raised when Trudeau did not attend a gala dinner for world leaders hosted by Indian President Draupadi Murmu. Days before he flew to India, Trudeau had also unexpectedly announced a pause on the trade treaty. This is despite the fact that India-Canada bilateral trade has been on the rise. India is the world's fastest growing large economy and the 5th biggest economy with a GDP of $3.2 trillion, significantly larger than Canada in 9th with a GDP of about $2 trillion. India's imports from Canada amounted to $3 billion in 2020, but exports were a mammoth $4.1 billion. India's exports to Canada rose further to $4.25 billion in 2021. Despite the upswing, Trudeau's frosty ties with India date back to 2018 during his first visit to India as Prime Minister. The visit was marred by controversies, including concerns over Trudeau's attire and the attendance of a convicted pro-Khalistani terrorist at one of the events. Jaspal Atwal, a Canadian extremist convicted of attempting to assassinate an Indian politician in the 1980s, attended an event by Trudeau in Mumbai, which led to a political fallout. New Delhi viewed these incidents as a diplomatic misstep and the Canadian government's support to anti-India elements. Additionally, Canada's stance on issues related to human rights and the situation in Kashmir has not always aligned with India's positions. These differences have created a sense of mutual mistrust. However, this postponement of trade talks is a squandered opportunity for both countries economically. Trade missions provide an opportunity for enterprises to explore new markets, make connections, and create partnerships. Delaying the process may have serious repercussions for Canadian and Indian companies seeking to expand their operations. It represents the complexities of current diplomatic relations which intersect with geopolitics, internal politics, and global dynamics.